Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, I'm Jack, I'm an accountant and I'm living in London. Today I wanted to talk about something that's slightly more off topic compared to what I've been talking about previously. It's a little bit productivity based and it's also a little bit related to some of the things I've discussed in my blog recently, but that is about sort of what can we expect from the world after coronavirus. I think it's a really important question because I, for one, have realised very quickly that what I was doing previously is not something that I can see myself doing forever. Now, does that mean I don't want to be an accountant? No, it doesn't. I do really enjoy the work, I enjoy the people that I work with, and I enjoy the company I work for. But do I want to continue working in the same way that I was working before? Absolutely not. I want to have more flexibility in my life. I want to have a greater sense of responsibility and control over the work I'm doing. Now, I understand that work needs doing in a certain order and certain people are going to request things from people and they will need to be done, but it's the responsibility of someone. If you tell someone I need this by the end of Friday, then you should give those people just a free flexibility. It shouldn't be that you see them in the office on a Monday all of these things seem a little bit ridiculous now that everyone's working from home. To be honest, as long as that piece of work arrives by Friday, close of play, as you've asked for it, does it really matter how or when or in what process it was done to get to it? As long as it's of a standard that you want, a standard that you requested. I think it's absolutely ridiculous we've ever worked to these principles, that the only way someone is productive is if we see them in an office physically doing the work. I just think that's crazy in the world that we live in with the technology we've got available. My blog's linked down below called Simple Productivity, and I've recently just posted something that I refer to as the virtual office. It's something that I'm really playing with and toying with a lot in my mind at the moment of how can we as a society get prepared for what is going to be possibly the biggest way of working, so the biggest change to the way we work since computers were invented probably, so we're talking 50 years almost. When I'm looking at certain industries, I'm thinking to myself, at the moment, and I think it's an opportunity for everyone to do, is to say to yourselves, well, actually, is that industry still going to be as popular as it is now? Are there other skill sets that I could move into to develop? Everybody's talking about learning to code at the moment. I think learning to code is very simplistic. I think learning anything is probably the thing that everyone wants to be doing right now. It's something that I'm trying to really encourage and I'm trying to learn myself. I'm trying to take on as much as possible, but I'm also trying to share as much as possible, because if that sharing helps someone else, then it's just a constant chain of new information being cycled around. Somebody may give a different perspective on it. One person, as I've just said, could read 100 articles and they may only get relevance or get the point that one of the writers is making. So it has to be that lots of us are sharing content, lots of us are choosing to learn. The more we choose to learn, the more we choose to share, the quicker we will grow and the quicker we will all be able to understand what this new society is going to look like. Because it's very easy to look at coronavirus and say that this is a one-off event, but now if we don't have a vaccine this winter, we could very well be seeing that social distancing is still going to be in place. We could see that certain industries are not going to be able to reopen. I mean, I work in the hospitality industry. It's definitely got me thinking about the way that hospitality is going to react to this. Also, I think it's really important to consider what industry is going to emerge. Now, are they all going to be perfect and great? Well, no, they're not. And some of them are going to take a lot of time to refine, and some of them are going to be very volatile to get into to begin with, and it's going to be a lot of success and failures. You'll probably see that very early on, new industries are defined by one company, very much like MySpace or Bebo did with social media, and then all of a sudden a more refined and integrated product comes along, which is then overtakes it. So we'll probably see over the next 5 to 10 years new industries evolving, with certain companies taking a share but never really dividing it up. And then what we'll probably see is large companies who get it, who really understand what people want from that industry, who will start to, I don't want to say monopolize, because monopolize is the wrong word, but provide a service that is the best or the most outstanding in that sort of subject area. That's why I think learning is so important. It's going to be really crucial to be diverse. It's going to be really crucial to have a skill set that is wide ranging, and social skills are going to be more important than ever, even though there is nothing social about working from home, because the ability to communicate with people who are not sat next to you, it's going to be so much more difficult to convey tone correctly, to make sure that you are getting a point across with enough, maybe it requires enough sort of commitment to the point to make sure someone knows that you're serious about how urgent it is, but then also being able to convey that in a tone as well that potentially doesn't upset someone, or works in a social environment. We're going to have to try and build teams of people that will never meet each other, and that is just absurd from a company perspective. There are small companies that are doing it, but large companies that work efficiently on the majority have large office bases where people are talking to each other face to face on a daily basis. So building social skills and building a diverse portfolio of skills and abilities, and that could even be languages, is going to be really important. My takeaway from all of this is just really to make people aware of where I think this is going. As I said, I work in an industry that is heavily being affected by coronavirus and would potentially be the industry that last gets back on its feet. So I think it's really important to understand how things are going to change and what also you need to learn and be able to do in this new sort of virtual world. Now, whether that's organising an 8:30 yoga session with the people you work with, whether that's socialising some other aspect, people don't realise how sociable working is and how social you need to be to create a really effective working environment. I spend as much, if not more time with my work colleagues than I do with my girlfriend who I live with, especially during the week. And then during the weekends, I might spend some time with them as well if we're going out to do something together in London, or just anything like that. But you're building that social network. So we need to make sure that we have good social skills. We need to make sure to develop a really wide-ranging set of skills and abilities. As I said, languages is also going to be really important in that. And then we also need to make sure that as a society we understand the needs of people who don't work well from home. And that's all going to be a learning curve for all of us. But if you don't think there's opportunities for you currently, and you don't feel like the world that you currently work in is suiting you, this is absolutely the time to redefine what you want to be, what you want to be doing, and how you want to be going about it. And there is nothing stopping someone from redefining the way that they work, that they are the only person doing it, because this is totally unheard of. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and I think it's going to be a really exciting time for everyone. So embrace the opportunity, learn as much as you can, absorb as much as you can, and obviously be very, very flexible, because the world is going to massively change in the next 5 to 10 years, and the way that we do things, the way that we live this normal life that we call it now, is going to be absolutely arcane in, as I said, 5 to 10 years. So thank you very much if you've hung around, if you've listened to my thoughts. If you find anything interesting, please leave a comment down below, and if you like the content, please like, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing a few more of these informal things as things come into my head over the coming weeks. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.